Hello, good morning, friends. We are back again with our topic globalization. And the last class we saw how the integrating of market was done, and today we shall see the factors that have enabled globalization. Because some 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the globalization nobody was thinking about it. Everybody was thinking about improving their financial economics, the economy, and so on. But now everybody is thinking about globalization. How? Or what made them to change that thinking? That's what we are going to see today. You can take page number 62. So, rapid improvement in technology has been one major factor that has stimulated the globalization process. So, you can underline what is one of the most important factor that affected the enabling or that enable the globalization. That is rapid improvement in technology. That is one of the most important. So earlier the information technology industry was not so much developed. So but once it was developed, it spread very fast. The internet, the computer, other factors, other parts of the IT technology, it simply developed very fast. So we could communicate easily with the people living in other country, other parts of the continent, and so on. And for instance, the past 50 years have seen several improvements in transportation technology. This has made much faster delivery of goods across long distances possible at lower costs. So, if you look at the last 50 years, we can say the transportation technology also has improved a lot. It has improved quite a lot. All the times we have to send the things by ship, and it will take months and months to reach the destination, suppose if it is to the foreign country. But now the transportation is so fast, we can send it by plane and it will reach the other side of the world just the following day. So it is so fast. So transportation facility has improved so much, and information technology has improved so much, and the cost of living also has changed. Earlier, if you want to send something by courier, you have to send so much of money, but now we can send things by speed post also. It doesn't cost so much. It has become cheaper. And vehicle transportation, road transportation is still cheaper, and can send by train or even by plane. It has come very cheap these days. And let's see the example: containers for transport of goods. The containers. Goods are placed in containers that can be loaded intact onto ships, railways, planes, and trucks. So there are containers are there, boxes are there, and things will be packed inside that box, and the box is lifted as it is and kept in the ship or in the plane or in the train and so on. So no need to take it out and pack again, but the big containers, big boxes are there, and as it is lifted and put it into the transportation vehicle, maybe truck or maybe plane or train and so on. Then containers have led to huge reduction post in port handling costs and increase the speed with which exports can reach markets. So earlier that facility was not there. If you want carry some things into the ship, we had to repack it, we had to take into small pieces and carry. So then loading and unloading charge, everything becomes very high. Today, as the big box, it is lifted up by the crane and kept in the ship or in the truck or in the plane and so on. So it has become so comfortable or so easy it has become, and that has increased, especially things that we are exporting to foreign countries, and so we can pack into big boxes, like things like heavy, which are very heavy, that becomes very easy for us to transport into other countries. Then Similarly, the cost of air transport has fallen. Earlier, to go by flight and so it was so costly. Now there are so many companies are there operating private airlines, and because of that competition, each company is trying to reduce the cost in order to attract the customers. So even the air transportation has become very cheap these days, and this has enabled much greater volumes of goods being transported by airlines. So since airlines are not charging much, now people started carrying things by air also, by aeroplane. Otherwise it was only going by ship because that is the cheapest. Now airlines also not charging much, therefore it has become very cheap. So we can say the things that has improved or that has enabled, one is IT technology, another one is transportation. So these two things have enabled the globalization. Then even more remarkable have been the developments in information and communication technology. So information and communication, to give communication, mobile phone has developed so much. Earlier we had to call ISD call, which was so expensive. If you call for 1 minute, you had to pay so much rupees. Now it has become so cheap, and if you have data connection, we can make free voice calls and so on. So communication has become very cheap, therefore we can communicate easily from one country to another country. So it does not cost too much. So business calls we may have to make some long times, 30 minutes or 1 hour, or we may have to make several times phone calls. So all the times it was very expensive. Therefore people did not want to do business with other countries or contact people, other shopkeepers or other industrialists in foreign countries, because it was very expensive. But now it has become very cheap. So that is another fact that has enabled globalization. So in recent times, technology in the areas of telecommunications, computers, internet has been changing rapidly. Telecommunication facilities, that is telegraph, telephone, including mobile phones, fax and so on, are used to contact one another around the world, to access information instantly, and to communicate from remote areas. So as the development is coming, especially in the communication centers, the means of communication like telegram, telephone, mobile phone, all these instantly we are able to contact other persons. All the times we have to write a letter, and it will take 1 week or 2 weeks to reach other country, and to get back the reply again it will take another 2 weeks. So it was so expensive all the times, but now it has become so easy and it is easily available. Therefore we can say all these have helped, all these improvement in the technology have helped the enabling of globalization around the world. We are able to contact anyone and do business. If you want to buy something, just ring up and say to that company, send me this, and make the payment through online. Then immediately they will send the thing. So that way it has become very easy. We can, without even going to abroad, we can sit in your house and order things from a foreign company, and they will be happy to serve you. Then this has been facilitated by satellite communication devices. And as you would be aware, computers have now entered almost every field of activity. You might have also ventured into amazing world of internet, where you can obtain and share information on almost anything you want to know. So another thing that is under information technology that has developed so much is internet facility. So we can search for information in the internet, anything under the sun you will get. Just type in the Google and you will be able to get it. So the information is so easily available because of this internet facility, and we can communicate with others, we can send emails, or we can send other information through internet, and therefore it has become very easy for the people to contact one another. So the distance is not at all a problem now. People are living in the other side of the globe also. We have we can easily contact because of this satellite communication, like mobiles, other internet. All these things are helpful. So for people now, distance is not a matter. We are able to contact people anywhere in the universe. Then internet also allows us to send instant electronic mail, that is email, electronic mail, and talk, that is voicemail, across the world and negligible cost. At a very cheap rate, we are able to talk with people who are other side of the world, other part of the world, in other countries and so on. So internet helps us so much. And we can just see that information is given there. Information and communication technology, or IT, has played a major role in spreading out production of services across the countries. So we are saying the same thing again, that information and technology, development of information and technology has helped the people to come closer, people to come nearer and nearer, though not physically, but through proper communication, through instant communication, we are able to feel the nearness, we are able to feel that anything is possible even if people are sitting far away. Then a news magazine published in for London readers is to be designed and printed in Delhi. So we can see how the information technology is developed so much and helping people from one another. People, for example, a news magazine published for London readers. So a magazine is to be published for London, but it is designed and printed in Delhi. You see, they don't want to print it there, they are printing in Delhi. So much of distance is there, but that is not a problem for now. The text of the magazine is sent through internet into the Delhi office. The designers in Delhi office get orders on how to design the magazine from the office in London using telecommunication facilities. And the designing is done on a computer. And after printing, the magazines are sent by air to London. Even the payment of money for designing and printing from a bank in London to a bank in Delhi is done instantly through the internet, that is e-banking. So the people in London, they will send it to Delhi through internet, all the matters, all the articles that are printed or typed, and in Delhi they will receive it in the office, and from London they will contact them. They will tell them how they should design, what should be the design, all that, what should be the quality of the printing. All the information will be given, and they will download from the internet all these documents, and they will print it in Delhi, then bind it together, pin together, make it a magazine, and then they will pack and send it to London by aeroplane, and the payment will be already done. They will say, and from Delhi they will send the message, the cost of printing and designing is this much. Then immediately they will transfer from London bank to New Delhi bank to the owners or the workers bank. They will receive the payment immediately and the work is done. So it has become so easy. The following day the things will reach in London. So maybe in Delhi printing is cheaper, therefore they ask the Delhi people to do the printing and designing. And so those who are in London, those who are publishing this magazine, they can save some money. If they are printing in London, the cost will be high. So even we can sit in one place and do the work in other place and get the thing in the following day or after 2 days. So it has become so easy. All these are because of internet revolution. Internet facilities are available, and that way communication becomes very easy, the transportation of things become very easy, and we can get the things from other place very easily and so on. See the workout now. In the above example, underline the words describing the use of technology in production. So in that example, printing magazine in Delhi, can you say which is the word used for technology in production? Technology in production. So that is design, designing, and the designing is called the technology in production. Then how is information technology connected with globalization? So as we just now said, it is possible because of information can be given immediately, the matter can be sent to others immediately, and so on. And the would globalization have been possible without expansion of IT? So what do you think? If this information technology has not been expanded so much, not been developed so much, would you think that this globalization would have been possible? I think it would not have been so possible. Maybe it would have been possible to a country which is near to each other, close by. But countries that are very far away, I don't think it would have been possible to get things from one place to another because of the lack of IT, information technology development. So now it has been developed so much, therefore the things have become it has become possible to move things from one place to another. It has become so easy. So that is how the globalization took place, and it is still now happening. Now let's see liberalization of foreign trade. So liberalization of foreign trade, let's see that. Liberalization of foreign trade. Liberalization of foreign trade and foreign investment policy. That means we said earlier that government has to give them some permission to these multinational corporations to relax the trade rules and so on. If the rules are not very convenient for them, then these foreign companies will not come. So in order to invite these foreign companies to start business in their country, so the government will have to make certain relaxation in the rules. That is called liberalization. Let's see how do they do it. So let us return to the example of imports of Chinese toys in India. Earlier we said the example of Chinese toys being imported to India. Suppose the Indian government puts a tax on import of toys, what would happen? Those who wish to import these toys would have to pay tax on this. Because of the tax, buyers will have to pay a higher price on imported taxes, and Chinese toys will no longer be as cheap in the Indian markets, and imports from China will automatically reduce. Indian toy makers will prosper. So, suppose if the government decides all those who are importing from China the toys, the import tax will be how to pay. So, government is increasing the tax. So, when that tax is there, one who is importing, he has to pay that tax. So, how will he get back that tax? He will increase the price of the toys. Suppose the import tax is, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, and the cost of the toy is, let's say, 50 rupees. So this 1 lakh rupees he has to pay extra for paying tax. Then how will he get back that 1 lakh rupees? He will increase the price of every toy. So the toy that was 50 rupees, he will make it 75 rupees, or he will make it 70 rupees. So accordingly he will increase the price, otherwise he will lose. So in order to get that profit, he will increase the price of the toys. Then what happens? The price of the Chinese toys will become higher. And before, the people were buying Chinese toys because it is cheaper than Indian toys. So because of this tax, the Chinese toys price also is increased. Therefore, it will become somewhat equal to the toys of Indian manufacturers. Therefore, it becomes equal, and people will abandon Chinese toys and will start buying the Indian toys. That way, it will help the Indian toy makers. So, government's policies or government decisions can affect the foreign trade. So, tax on imports is an example of trade barrier. So it depends on the government. If the government is increasing the tax of imported item, that means government is not encouraging trade from that country, import from that country. In the other way, if the government is reducing the import tax or giving free import, those who want import from China no need to pay any tax. If government is making that decision, that shows government is encouraging more and more people to import goods from China. That is, so the government decisions can always affect the import and the export, and that is called trade barrier. It's a block. Barrier means a block. It is called a barrier because some restrictions has been set up. Governments can use trade barriers to increase or decrease or regulate foreign trade, and to decide what kinds of goods and how much of each should come into the country. So government can decide. Suppose government is finding that there is so much of import from one country, then what can government do? Government can increase the import duty. Then the price will go higher of the things, and then people will not buy those things. So if the price is high, the importer, the business person knows nobody is going to buy. Therefore, he will not take the risk, and he will not bring import from there. He will look for from which country if I import tax is less, and he will try to import from that country. And also he will see which is the thing that is in high demand, and he will try to import those things and so on. So government decision is always affecting the foreign trade. The Indian government after independence had put barriers to foreign trade and foreign investment. This was considered necessary to protect the producers within the country from foreign competition. And industries were just coming up in the 1950s and 1960s, and competition from imports at that stage would not have allowed these industries to come up. So we say the Indian government after independence, it put some trade barriers. That means it said we will not allow the import from other countries, only essential things will be allowed. And also the foreign investment, we are not allowing the foreign company to come and do the investment in India. Why did government choose that way? Because India was just got freedom, and we are just trying to set up things, because we were very poor during the British rule, and we had no proper education, we had no proper industry, nothing was there. So India government blocked the foreign investment and the foreign goods, so that in India the business people, the industrialists, they will work hard and they will develop India. If foreign traders are coming in, they will make profit and they will carry the profit to their country. It will not remain in the country. So in order to help the Indian industrialists, Indian business people, government said no foreign trade, no foreign investment. So that was to help the India, because Indian traders were just at the beginning stage. After some time they will become export, then government can invite the foreign traders and will have competition with them. So at present, soon after the independence, Indian traders were not in a position to do competition, because they are just beginning. That's why government did not encourage the foreign trade. Thus, India allowed imports of only essential items such as machinery, fertilizers, petroleum, etc. Note that all developed countries during the early stages of development have given protection to domestic producers through a variety of means. So, India did not allow the import of unnecessary things, but only essential things like machineries. To start a new factory, we need machinery, so we are buying machines from foreign countries, or fertilizers to help the farmers, especially for green revolution time. So we need the fertilizers. Then we need the petroleum. All these things we don't have at all in our country, therefore we are buying. So only the essential things we are buying, not all kinds of fancy things we were not buying. We are completely depending on our own industrialists. We wanted the people in India itself to produce these things and come up in life and help the development of the country. Then, starting around 1991, some far-reaching changes in policy were made in India. The government decided that the time had come for Indian producers to compete with the producers around the globe, and it felt that competition would improve the performance of producers within the country since they would have to improve their quality. This decision was supported by powerful international organizations. So, after getting freedom, India around 40 years we can say did not allow any foreign traders to come and start business in India or foreign investment. But by 1991, government realized so long the Indians were producing things without any competition. They were producing in India and using in India, selling in India itself. No foreign trade, no export, no import. So there was no much competition with foreign traders, foreign business people. Now government realized we shall relax that policy. We shall allow the foreign companies to come and do business in India. Let us allow them to invest in India so that there will be competition and our traders also will try to produce better things. If there is no competition, we will produce something and people are forced to buy that. But if there is somebody else is making better things, we will try to things better than that one, so that people will buy ours. So there will be competition and the quality will be increased and the price will try to make it cheaper and so on. Because those who are making things at a cheaper price, their things will be sold faster. So this kind of facilities are there. Government realized that, and so government removed all the restrictions, all the trade barriers, and that was welcomed by all the other international organizations. So everybody welcomed the decision of India that they want to come to India and do business and so on. So thus barriers on foreign trade and foreign investment were removed to a large extent. So to a great extent, the people were allowed to come and do business in India, the foreign trade. This meant that goods could be imported and exported easily, and also foreign companies could set up factories and offices here in India. So after these foreign barriers were removed, we were allowed to export things to other country, and we were allowed to import things from other country, and we allowed the foreign companies to come and make investment in India and start their company in India, and so India also joined with the rest of the world in doing business. Then removing barriers or restrictions set by the government is what is known as liberalization. So we can underline, it's already given in the bold letters, still we can underline what is liberalization. That is our topic. So removing the barriers or restrictions set by the government. So government decides that we will not have trade with other country, we will not have import from other country, and so such kind of decisions are removed by the government. That is known as liberalization. So with liberalization of trade, businesses are allowed to make decisions freely about what they wish to import or export. So once it is liberalized, we are free to import things from other country or export the things from India to other country, and so there is no more barrier. If there may be some tax may be there, we have to pay that tax, then we are free. We have to get permission from the government and we are free to do importing and exporting. And the government imposes much less restrictions than before and is therefore said to be more liberal. So when government is reducing the barriers, the restrictions, then we can say the government is also very liberal. So liberalization is done by the government if the government is a liberal government. So they want to have competition, they want the country to develop, they want the country to progress, therefore they initiate competition, they initiate export and import, foreign investment, and so on. So foreign companies can come and start business in India, industry in India, manufacturing in India, and so on. Okay, just to see that work out also. What do you understand by liberalization of foreign trade? That's what we just now said. The barriers are removed and the liberalization is made possible. Then tax on imports is one type of trade barrier. So government, in order to control the trade, foreign trade, what do? They'll impose a tax. Tax will be increased, import tax. If you want to import things from other country, you have to pay high tax. Then price of the things will be higher and the people will be discouraged to import from other countries. So the government would also place a limit on the number of goods that can be imported. Sometimes government will say only such and such things will be allowed to import from other country. So what are the things that are already produced in India, we will not allow to import again from other country. So what is not available in India, government will say, okay, these things are not available here, you can import. So government will give them permission and to decide what are the things to be imported and so on. This is known as quota. So government will say import quota. These are the things that is allowed to be imported. Then can you explain using the example of Chinese toys how quotas can be used to trade barriers? Do you think that this should be used? Discuss and so on. So we said because of Chinese toys coming from in China, the Indian toys nobody is buying because Indian toys are costlier than Chinese toys. Chinese toys are more beautiful in designing, better quality and so on. Therefore, all are going for buying Chinese toys. Suppose government says the import tax is high on Chinese toys, then what will happen? The price of the Chinese toys will be high and people will look for cheaper toys, then they will start buying Indian toys. And that way the Indian manufacturers will be able to get the benefit, able to make the profit and so on. So that is how the government policies can help the people, the local businessmen, the local manufacturer in order to produce more and get more profit. Otherwise, when we support the import of the foreign goods, then those companies will be getting profit, and we will be paying them all our money, and they will become richer and richer. So government has to make the right decision in order to support and help the Indian companies other than the foreign companies. Then we will, our own companies, our own industrialists, our own business people will improve, and our country as a whole will be developing faster, becoming richer and richer. So that is a government's role in globalization or in liberalizing the policy of foreign trade and so on. So thank you for listening. We will meet you again in the next day with another topic. Until then, bye.